I don't know what to say. I'm literally speechless, which is unfortunate because I'm a commentary YouTube channel. As a thank you for all your support, I've left a special gift. It's at the end of the video. Thanks guys, moving on. Warning, absolutely everything I'm about to talk about is beyond sickening, disgusting, and vile to its very core. Okay, I'm done selling you the movie. Let's jump in.
Sauriez-vous imaginer ce qu'il y a après la mort? Doutez, Étienne.
I've got to make an unexpected proclamation. I f***ing love the French for the undeniable balls they had when making slasher films in the early 2000s. There are movies like Inside that were just so over-the-top brutal that I couldn't help but be impressed by the sheer level of blood, guts, and dismemberment they were capable of even dreaming up. It was a crimson wave of horror excellence. And Martyrs is at the very top of many a list for not only being the most gruesome splatterfest imaginable, but also being one of the most depressing films ever made as well. There is no happy ending here. Only pain and misery for every single character involved. Prepare your mind before you see this one, in a similar fashion to the mental preparation you'd need before a movie like The Girl Next Door or the Poughkeepsie Tapes. There is no God here, only depravity. Before we continue, consider smashing that subscribe button if your taste in movies runs as black as mine. And possibly a like if you want to egg me on to keep watching this. This bleak film is the work of Pascal Laguerre,
Pascal Laugier,
who was going through a major depressive episode when writing the script, which I'm sure comes off as a surprise to absolutely no one who's watched this movie. Pascal used this film to channel his raw, unfiltered feelings about his tortured inner world. It manifests in all sorts of ways throughout this picture: self-harm, resentment against power structures, guilt about the people in your life that you couldn't save. It really hits on some extreme themes, but it doesn't do so with the grace of a ballerina. It's more like the savagery of an executioner. Both of them have an art to it. One is just far more grim, and Pascal wanted to take a knife to the throat of his audience and then watch them squirm as he takes that same knife and turns it inward towards himself. By the end of my first viewing, I felt positively gutted. His inner world bled through here, quite literally. So it should also come as no surprise to anybody that his main inspiration for the film was Hostel by Eli Roth. One dash Eli Roth splatterfest, one dash most depressing thing you've ever seen, end result, Martyrs. So let's dive right in then. The thing is, this one takes you on a wild ride by playing with your expectations in diabolical ways. You start with a young woman running away from an abandoned building, fearing for her safety, and badly beaten. And before you can fully ponder who she is or what's going on there, the credits roll. The credits contain a montage of the girl's life since running away from whatever horrible situation she had found herself in. Her name is Lucy, and she's become the adoptive sister of Anna. These two are the stars of this depraved tale, and just as we're getting familiar with these two, the film cuts from all of that and instead jumps into the home of a seemingly normal family. Who are these people, you wonder? What is this place? What does it have to do with the situation we saw in the beginning of the movie? None of these questions are answered. Instead, we simply dive headlong into their seemingly normal breakfast. You become coaxed into a sense of security as the scene plays out, slowly forgetting any initial fears you might have had that this movie was too brutal for you to handle. And once they've lulled you into that sweet sense of false security where nothing could possibly go wrong, the doorbell rings, and the movie brings a shotgun into the equation. It's Lucy from the intro, all grown up, and she's like,
"So how's this for an establisher shot?"
This shocking turn of events really had my jaw on the floor the first time I watched this film. One family member down for the count in a flurry of blood splatter. Then, systematically, she proceeds to ruthlessly slaughter every single member of the family with extreme prejudice. By the time she's done with the first half of them, you're already thinking, my God, what could this family have possibly done to have deserved all of this? And so they fall one by one. The killer takes a moment to look over her crime scene before then going to the phone, calling her sister Anna, the one who we saw in the opening credits, who is now also an adult. Lucy has an attitude when she calls Anna, like, "I did it again. I slaughtered a child, then killed his parents. Oh baby, baby." And her sister's like, All right, where are you at? Like she just received a call from the county jail in which her sister has been arrested for a DUI and is asking to be bailed out. So she shows up to the house and is rightfully mortified when she sees the scene. Like, what the fuck, sis? This place looks like a Diablo dungeon. But Lucy has a dark secret, one she's been fighting this entire time. The existence of a shadow monster who may simply live in her mind and is ready to kill her from the inside out. Creepy, right? This is one of the first esoteric elements of Martyrs in which it seems obvious that the monster that I've just described isn't real. And yet the damage it does is very real, often leaving Lucy bloodied and almost disfigured by the time the shadow monster is done with her. It's actually a quite brilliant metaphor for the demons we all face that hide from the rest of the world. Some believe these to be mental ailments, others believe them to be metaphysical essences from realms beyond. This is the main theme of the movie, in my opinion. The idea that there might be something beyond this world that's very real, that we can only sense but not touch. And it may simply be the result of our minds. But the movie is happy to not take a definitive position on the idea of the forces at play. It lets your imagination fill in the blanks. Anna tries her best to clean up after her sister's mess, even coming close as to save the mother of the family. Evidently, her bullet resistance stats were very strong. She crawls from the bathroom floor, a bloody mess. But before she can be saved, Lucy comes in and finishes the job, turning her body into a cutting block and ending her existence. Then, Lucy turns to her demon, the one that lashes out periodically. She begs it to let her go, now that she's killed her assailants and overcome her trauma. This is the part of the movie that really weighs me down. Lucy's demon looks to her sympathetically, at least as much sympathy as a demonic entity can express anyways. It looks to her with pity as it slowly slides the blade down Lucy's wrists. It turns out there was one last victim the whole time. Lucy herself, who cuts her own throat and bleeds out into the rainy night as Anna stares on in horror. This scene really impacted me emotionally, as the idea of losing a tragically flawed loved one is truly bittersweet. You may be free of the insanity that they brought to your everyday life, and yet you are robbed of someone you were close with forever. With Lucy gone and a horrible crime scene left in her wake, what's left for Anna? Trust me, it's much worse than you think. Lucy's demon, it turns out, is based on the memory of a girl she knew when she was at the facility. When she escaped from it, she did not come back and save her, haunting her and leaving her with a tremendous amount of guilt. She didn't set that girl free. She ran away and saved her own life. It turns out this is very relevant later on, because as Anna cleans up her sister's crime scene, she finds a hidden doorway, one that leads to what looks like a laboratory from Resident Evil. The walls are adorned with pictures of people who look very desperate as they stare off in the distance with possessed eyes. And once Anna finds a trapdoor and descends down it, she discovers another woman, one with a metal grate stapled to her face, another victim of the same people who captured and tortured Lucy. Anna figures a nice hot bath should patch this poor woman up right away. So she dunks her frail, bleeding body into a tub of warm water and lets her open wounds soak. Sadly, this woman is also haunted by her own demon, one that also resulted from the torture and insanity of the facility. Her insanity very closely mirrors that of the poor girl in The Perfection, in that she believes that bugs live inside her arm, and the only way that she can rid herself of these bugs is to cut her arm off. Let me know in the comments below how you would handle a bug infestation in your arm. Do you cut it off? Tough it out until you find the doctor? Pray for a miracle antidote? There are so many solutions to this problem, and I need to know where everyone's twisted imaginations take them on that one. Sadly, this woman is far from saving. So, a SWAT team comes in and blows her head off, House of the Dead style, before moving in on Anna. This cast of Umbrella Corporation looking characters asks themselves, who is this strange girl who's found herself in the middle of this strange operation? And worse yet, what use can Anna be to these people? The final act of the movie, believe it or don't, is where things take the darkest turn of all. As it turns out, the members of this big happy family were actually influential members in an underground torture society. Not like the movie Hostel, not that type of torture facility. No, this secret society is attempting to discover the secret to life by submitting a conscious being to the maximum amount of torture they can inflict without killing them. There, in that desperate and tortured state, they can attempt to see the other side. And possibly, God. How do they know this is the case? As evidence, they present several pictures of people who have been horrifically tortured. Several of them have a look in their eye, a 1,000-yard stare that seems to glance out beyond this reality and into another world entirely. That, they explain, is their mission: to achieve what they refer to as martyrdom, to endure such suffering in the physical body that their being transcends this world. So that's what Anna is in for: divine levels of torture. Unfortunately for all of us, they don't just tell you all of this, they show it. And it gets worse, and worse, and worse, as if we're watching a condensed montage of the events in The Girl Next Door. She's beaten, shaved, cut, and eventually mutilated in ways that are difficult to describe. I'll just call it the human potato, because she gets peeled like one. All that's left of her by the end is meat and a face. There, in the center of all that torture and agony, she sees what they hoped for her to see: the other side. In the final scene, the members of the secret torture society all gather, ready to hear the great revelation from the other side, ready to bear witness to the one who has actually achieved true martyrdom. The evil old wench who's initiated this whole process goes to the unfortunate victim. She listens to the truth. And then she tells her colleague,
Sauriez-vous imaginer ce qu'il y a après la mort?
Before he has time to process what this statement even means, however, she blows her own brains out, having already had them blown to smithereens by whatever information she had just been told. Apparently, when it comes to the message of the martyr,
You can't handle the truth!
that's one of the things that really landed for me in this one. Whatever's waiting for you on the other side, the filmmaker has made you fear it at least a little bit with that giant question mark left at the end. I remember the credits rolling, and the fear that stuck with me wasn't due to the violence or torture. No, the fear that stuck with me was this: what if whatever's on the other side of death is really that scary? What if, as dark and unsure as this life may seem, there are even worse things waiting on the other side? This is a question that I also asked when I saw the movie Event Horizon, and whew, this thought has kept me up at night. I'm very interested in your collective ideas about the ending and what it means. To me, it's commentary on how scary the uncertainty of the other side is. Maybe there's nothing. Maybe there's a god who's ready to punish the wicked viciously. Maybe the woman realizes she's actually made a pact with the devil. There's nothing really concrete for me. Please let me know in the comments, because I'd truly like to know the various theories out there about what this means when it comes to the ending of the movie. So that's Martyrs. Truly one of the most reprehensible flicks I've ever seen, and yet it's done with such a steady hand and a clear-cut mission that you can't fault it for being too campy or over the top. It's deathly serious in tone, and it will not relent just because it makes you squirm. It's ready to take a bite out of your soul. And I love that kind of attitude when it comes to art and entertainment. Do that. Go there. I can handle it. It's just a movie after all. And what is a movie other than an exploration into something outside of your daily life? Anyway, that just about does it for this week's episode of The Rocking Horror Picture Show. Let me know what you thought about Martyrs in the comments below. Until next week, I'm your host, Sleeve T, and as always, I'm doing just fine. What's up, everybody? I'm here to give you your free gift. In the description below, you'll find the link to my Patreon. This episode is completely uncensored there, and is completely free, just to give you a small taste of the catalog. I really appreciate all of the support. You can check out my Patreon and get your name in the credits right here. And if you want to join in on the discussion and recommend movies, join the Discord. The link is below. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys next week. Rock and roll.